Davis with the Real Men, Real Leaders podcast. Today is April 17th. It's a Thursday. It's going to be a beautiful day out there. It's going to reach the 90s, up to the 90s, and so it's going to be a bit warm. Then it cools off. And also, don't forget, this is Holy Week. You know, families will gather together and celebrate our Lord Jesus Christ's resurrection. I think so oftentimes our celebration with Easter or Christmas, we can forget the meaning of that celebration. So please be with your families and during this time of prayer and thanksgiving about the resurrection of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. We have a great guest today. This guy has been so instrumental in helping our boys with regard to the outdoor activities. Okay, and he is really the key guy that got us going on getting our boys safety certified, if you will, for hunting. And we started out with 10 boys initially, and now we have over 70 boys who have earned their certification and gives them an opportunity to go out hunting. This has been a big deal for our program. I can't stress that enough. And once we get the girls going, it will equally be huge for our young girls as well. It gives our kids an opportunity to get out in front of the TV, off their phones, social media, gaming, and gets them outdoors and just taking in the outdoors and enjoying the outdoors. And so today we have with us Bobby Cole. Bobby, welcome. We're glad that you are with us. I can't thank you and your guys enough because you really, to some degree, helped transform our program. We've had the leadership program going on, teaching the concepts, but this has been good because it gets our boys outside, but yet maintain a leadership role. Uh-huh. So before we talk about all that, I want you to introduce yourself to our folks out there, your story, where you grew up, where did you go to school, your family, starting then and up to now.
Very good. Well, I definitely appreciate you guys having me on. It's been very, very rewarding working with the boys in your program. It's been humbling and just awesome to be a part of it all and see their growth and see all the boys coming through. So it's thank you for having me on, and thank you for trusting us with taking your kids on these events and teaching them these things. I was born and raised in Dodge City. Went to all the public schools there from kindergarten on up. Graduated from Dodge City High School 2006. I did some sports and some things like that in high school. I was a big part of the choir programs and some of the different things like that also. So was involved, but not super involved in a lot of things. Just, kind of hung out with friends and lived the life, and grew up hunting and fishing with my dad and my grandpa and my uncles and doing all that stuff. So it's something that's very near and dear to my heart is that, I grew up with strong men. I grew up with, they were strong. They were confident. They weren't nice men like per se, but they were confident and strong and they knew what they were doing. And they always aired confidence and things. So I grew up with that. And, Dad would pull us out of high school.
Which, let me, get you, which quite frankly, that's very important.
Yeah.
Especially more now than ever for a father to be a strong leader.
Yeah.
For his family and even outside of that too. But go ahead.
It was definitely very instrumental seeing them be like that for sure. Like I said, Dad would take us out of school for 2 weeks every year and take us to Colorado, and we go up there and we go mule deer hunting and elk hunting. And so it was just Dad he worked his butt off.
Yeah.
Nonstop. And so he was hardly ever home because he was always working, providing for us. But that we had that 2 weeks every year where we'd go up there and we'd spend the entire 2 weeks with Dad and Grandpa and my great uncle, and we'd hunt and we'd just have a good time. And it was instrumental in me learning how to do these things and learning how to live and be, I have to work hard, but there's time to play also. So.
Absolutely. It's got to be part of life.
Yeah. So it was awesome. Like I said, I graduated in 2006. After I graduated, I joined the Army National Guard, and I spent 14 years in the Army National Guard.
Good. Thank you for your service.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes. So I don't think I knew that.
We talked about it a little bit.
Maybe
one
you
time.
told me. Yeah.
That was very instrumental in my life as well. I know I didn't really have much direction. Like I said, Dad was always gone.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what to do. So that was my, hey, I'm going to join the military and I'm going to figure something out. And it was good. It was really good for me. There was good times, there was bad times, and it really built me as a person. It gave me responsibility. It taught me how to be a leader. And,
you think it built your character, right?
Yeah, oh, for sure.
And probably some integrity there.
Yeah, I know. Well, integrity is the core values of the Army. Integrity is one of the core values of the military, of the Army. And so that was something that was really selfless service, different things like that. Where things were really instilled in me. And like I said, I joined at 18, and I left at 32, I think, 33. So I was medically retired in 2020 when I injured my back. I injured my back in 2012.
How'd you do that?
It was a freak accident. It was I was overseas. We were helping the Air Force do some stuff, and we were helping them pull a tin over, and a sandstorm came through and yanked me in the air and brought me back down on my butt. And I went probably 30 feet in the air and had a full kit on.
That's how powerful that storm was.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I had my hand wrapped around a rope wrapped around my hand. We were trying to pull a tarp over something, and it pulled me up in the air and just slammed me back down. So
wow. Where was this at?
That would have been over in Djibouti, Africa. So right above Somalia.
Wow.
So I spent 3 years overseas. And that was I was in Egypt and Israel, Jordan.
Did you enjoy that time? Because you get to see a lot of things, right?
Yeah,
well, to a certain extent.
Yeah, there's I saw a lot of cool things. We got to go see the pyramids. I swam in the Dead Sea, the Mediterranean Sea. I scuba dived in the Red Sea.
Wow.
So we got to do a lot of really
what a
cool
great
things.
experience.
And there's, like I said, there's a mix of good and bad. There's some bad things too, but
sure.
I choose to try to focus on the good things. So we had some good times. I met some of the best people. I met some of the worst people. And and a lot of these people became family to me, and a lot of them aren't here with us nowadays.
I don't mean to interrupt, but can you imagine had you not joined the Marines? I mean, look at the experiences, and yeah, it was a challenge, and you said there was good and bad, but man, what a great experience, total great experience, to be able to travel and beyond and take those countries in and learn a little bit about their culture and what those people go through. Mm-hmm. But I
definitely couldn't imagine life without that experience, because it definitely just it put me in the right direction of where I needed to go.
Well, you stretched yourself, and that's what we try to get our kids to. That's why we got to involve with you. We got to stretch them. You stretch them a little bit. A lot of those kids have never been exposed to what you guys are offering. A lot of them just won't get that opportunity or haven't gotten that opportunity. And I think that's why we see overwhelming response in that these boys, they want to go.
Yeah.
But I didn't mean to get sidetracked, but go ahead on your deal, and then we'll get about.
Well, National Guard said 3 years overseas, I think about 13 different countries between Africa and parts of the Middle East. And like I said, overwhelmingly good experience for most of it. I was medically retired in 2020, but while I was in the Guard, it gave me the freedom to come home and go to college. So I got a degree in fire science. Whenever I was in 2015, I graduated with that degree. Cool. I did firefighting for 2 years. I did the law enforcement thing for a while there too. So I kind of skipped around, just really trying to find my niche in the world.
Yeah, there you go.
And after I was medically retired, I kind of got in a slump there. There was a little bit of depression there, because that's what I knew for so long. When I got out, I was trying to figure out again, hey, this is a big hole in my life. How am I going to fill this?
Yeah.
And so I worked for the state for 3 or 4 years, helping vets get their benefits from the VA. And while I was working for them, I was volunteering for an organization called the Fallen Outdoors, which took veterans outdoors, hunting and fishing and doing things like that. So I did that for a total of 7 years, volunteering, taking vets out. And I probably around 2,000 vets I took out during that 7 years.
Wow, good for you, man.
And it was super rewarding to me. It helped me heal. It helped because we had probably over 20 people I served with committed suicide within the first 3 years of us being back.
Yeah, that's kind of big in the military.
It's unfortunate. It's an unfortunate statistic, and it's something that was really hard for all of us to deal with all those people we lost. So that helped me it helped me fill that space that I was missing, and it also helped me kind of heal from all the friends we've lost, because I got to spend more time with more vets. And it became a real thing for me whenever I had one of the vets I took out say, hey man, 2 days ago I wanted to end my life, and now I've gone out and done this, and I don't want to do that anymore.
Wow, change them.
Yeah, it changed my perspective on a lot of things, and it put me into that mindset of I want to serve people and help people, and like outside of the law enforcement, fire, EMS, and I need to find another way to serve people and help people.
Well, and I think that's what the good Lord wants us to do: be in service of others, just beyond what we do for a living. That we need to be in service of others.
Well, like Jesus washing people's feet and stuff. Like he served other people too.
Exactly.
So it was.
That's what he came here for.
Yeah.
And but yeah, go ahead. That's amazing. Yeah.
That was, like I said, it was super rewarding doing that with other vets. I got to travel. I got to go hunt in New Mexico with some vets a few times and just be all over the place and do all these trips. And thankfully, I have a wife that's awesome.
Yeah.
And very supportive. I know it's got to be frustrating having me gone sometimes, but she's very
How'd you meet your wife? What's her name?
Her name is Lisa.
Lisa, okay.
So I met her in 2012 when I got back from my last deployment. I was going through a divorce, unfortunately. And I met her at a St. Patrick's Day party, and we just started talking, and like the one thing led to another. And
good.
And, so I met her in 2012, 2015. We ended up getting married. So I have three beautiful children. And
what's their names?
There's Declan is he's 2 years old.
Wow.
Then I have Rhea, who is 8, and she is the life of the party. She's hilarious. Then there's Ella. I think you met Ella.
Yeah. She comes with you on. Yeah.
She just turned 12 last week.
Wow.
And I have a son from my last relationship. He's 14. So
wow.
4 kids. They keep me busy. They keep me on my toes.
You're blessed.
Yeah, they're awesome kids. They're smart. They're empathetic. They're adventurous, and I couldn't ask for anything more. And they're a little wild, but I wouldn't want it any other way, I don't think.
Yeah, good for you, man. You're blessed.
Yeah, it's definitely been a blessing with them. And my wife, I said, she's got the patience of a saint, because I'm a little squirrely and I like to jump around and do things. So she works real well with me. So
yeah.
And she also kind of, whenever I start sipping out, she kind of pulls me in and says, hey, you're getting off track here. We need to get you back on path.
Yeah. Well, that's good, because all men need that.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
For sure. But yeah, it's she's been a blessing in all this, because like I said, it does take me away from home at times, and she's there with the kids, and she's there with supporting us and doing all this stuff. So she's awesome.
So what are you doing now currently?
I work. I'm a full-time coordinator for Pass It On Outdoor.
Okay. So as we get into that, we came to know you as Outdoor Mentors, right? Mm-hmm. But that's the program that they have in place to get the youth involved.
Yeah, yes.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Explain that a little bit. When did you get involved with Outdoor Mentors then?
So I'd done a little bit of volunteer work with them while I was doing stuff with vets as well. And they decided that they were going to start expanding the program. And in 2022, they decided they wanted a Western Kansas coordinator to do a full-time coordinator out here to try to do this stuff. And I talked to Brittany. Brittany's from Dodge as well.
Yeah.
So I kind of know her. I kind of knew her before this. So I reached out to her hey, explain this position to me. And we talked in the past. And she's like, I think you'd be a good fit for it. You should apply for it. And I applied. And within, I think, 6 hours of my interview, they called me and offered me a job. And so I was like, this is going to be a big change, because I think they saw a lot of value in what I was doing with the vets. And they're like, hey, this guy's already doing this with vets. Why don't we pay him to do it with the youth in our program? So.
And how long's been that was
2022. So
okay.
This is my 4th hunting season, and my third. I'm on 3 full years now. It's February of 2022.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. I think they're right. I think they have the right guy.
It's been, like I said, it was a bit of a struggle starting out, but it's we finally getting the word out in Western Kansas. We're finally getting more kids involved, and the work with the Real Men Real Leaders has been a huge part of that.
Yeah, and we want to continue that. And once we get the girls going, that there's going to be huge opportunity there too. And you have other guys, right?
That's what we have.
That kind of work with you or help you or mentor these young kids.
We have in Outdoor Mentors, there's myself, who's the Western Kansas coordinator. We have an Eastern Kansas coordinator. We have our Brittany and Mike, who are our bosses essentially. Then we have an Iowa coordinator. Her name's Steph, and we have a Wisconsin coordinator. And so that's our full-time crew. The rest of that, like Brett Heckle, and like that, they are our volunteers. and they are rock star volunteers. Like I couldn't do this without those guys. You know, Brett did 40 hunts for us last year.
They're always there.
Yeah.
They show up. Man.
Yeah, like we have some of the best volunteers that I could ask for, like out of anything. And then that's doing it with vets. Like we had some awesome volunteers, but there's a different level with these guys when it comes to taking these youth outdoors, because they're so passionate about it. They go above and beyond to do these things. So like that's like Brett Heckle, Cameron Toppins, Jerry Carter. We got Matt Hines. Those are like the main guys that really helped with you guys' programs. There's a few others. Jared Fox down by Liberals done a lot with them too. Aaron Soldern's starting to get real involved with us too. So these guys are awesome. They've really done a lot for us, and they've really stepped up. And like I said, it wouldn't be a program without those volunteers.
Yeah, well, we're trying to get more fathers involved that are there. And we need to work on that a little bit more, and maybe even get them certified and get them, where they're really helping. I don't think we've done a good job of that, but it's one of those goals of ours to get more fathers involved and talk to them about it, and put them in touch with you or meet with you, but anyway, yeah, you guys again. It's amazing. I'm not blowing smoke up your butt here just because you're right in front of me. It's been a huge deal for us, and we hope to maintain it.
Yeah, since I don't know, when I found out about you guys' program, I was doing when I first got started, I went to different towns and got all the outdoorsmen and women there, and I just had like a town hall meeting style thing where I'd bring I'd roll in with a cooler full of beer, and we'd sit there and have some beers and talk to me like, hey man, this is our program. Like, shoot, like, do you guys want to get involved? Do you want to help out and stuff? And Garden City, like, it was really where things really started kicking off was here, because we went to that Hall and Axes, the axe throwing place down there, and we met, and I think there's 30 or 40 people showed up.
Wow.
And during my talk, I was talking about, hey, like, this is what we're doing. There's a guy in the crowd, and he kind of said it like almost combatively. He's like, well, why would I take your kids when I can just go to the Real Mineral Leader guys and snatch up with their kids? I was like, wait, I need to stop for a second. Who's this? Like, tell me about this organization, Real Mineral Leaders.
Is that how it started?
Yeah, that's how I figured out about you guys. And he kind of told me about your organization. I was like, well, okay. And so the next day I went and I got online. I Googled you guys, and I found out, and I got a hold of
Jonas?
Yeah, Jonas. I was like, hey, man, this is who I am. This is the program I'm a part of. It's like, would you guys be interested in taking your youth outdoors with us? And he's like, well, these kids have never been around guns, man. I was like, I get that. We'll work through that. We'll figure it out. We'll teach them, and we'll make it so they're proficient.
I'm going to tell you, when Jonas came and asked me, we talked about it, and then we had to talk to the board about it. We weren't quite sure, because now the kids are going to be around guns, and do we really want that? We didn't quite understand.
Yeah.
And but once we did, man, I'm glad we did.
Yeah, it's such a polarizing thing when you bring firearms into it. You got, unfortunately, we're in a world of like gun violence and things like that, and like, you bring that aspect into it, and it's definitely a hard, like, especially with you guys, like, you have to look at that these kids haven't had the experience with these firearms. They weren't raised around them, and just the community itself is kind of like, hey, guns are bad, and that's kind of how it's kind of gone naturally. But now we're teaching them how to be safe with guns and what to do if they ever are exposed to firearms. So it's a huge thing.
I think it's very important. I know a lot of people have fear and they don't want to have nothing to do with guns. That's all right. But I think the more young kids learn about a firearm and the danger it possesses, or put the two together, they need to be taught about safety of a firearm, but on the other flip side of that, they can be taught about the whole hunting experience, and I think like Manny, one of our students, that's transformed his. I mean, he loves, and he's become a pretty good hunter.
Oh yeah, I think I looked before I came here. I think he's up to 19 hunts he's done with us.
Yeah,
and like that's everything. He's hunted upland birds. He's hunted ducks. He's hunted dove, quail, pheasant. Those are upland.
And
birds.
had we not exposed him, again, see, and it's been a wonderful program. And they don't have to go through if there are parents. I don't know if we've had any parents say no. Most of them have been pretty. Yeah, I'd like my son to go through that.
Yeah, it's super rewarding to watch too. I know, like, so I have a job because of a movement called the R3 movement. And what that is recruiting, retention, reactivation of outdoorsmen and women. And, back in the 60s, 50s, 60s, about between 10 to 15% of Americans hunted. And we fast forward today, maybe 3% of Americans hunt.
God, it's really shrunk, hasn't it?
So it's really shrunk. And what that's done is put a strain on like KDWP, like state-ran organizations that manage the wildlife. So it's put a strain on them because all of their funding comes from two things. One is license sales, and the other is there's two things. There's Pittman-Robertson Act and the Dingell-Johnson Act. And so I want to say, I can tell you the exact dates, like 30s, 40s, the Pittman-Robertson Act was enacted. And what that did is it put an access tax, a 10% access tax on all firearms, ammo, hunting gear, and stuff like that. And that 10% came off before it even hit the market. Like the companies paid it, and that goes into conservation. And then that all goes in this big pot nationally, and then it's divided up according to license sales throughout the nation. So like Kansas, they say they sell 500 licenses in a year, which is a lot more than that. They get a certain percentage from the government for their conservation funds. So with that falling down so low, our conservation funds are so low. So I have a job essentially because we're trying to bring back the outdoorsman. And they did the same thing with fishing gear with the Dingell-Johnson Act years later. And so that's why you always hear the term hunters or conservationists, and it's because of things like that, those programs and the license sales, because we pay for the majority of conservation.
Wow. So. Good. Great background with that, because, it's even, beneficial for me to understand that whole, and Outdoor Mentors is it's nationwide, is it? Or just here in the mid?
So right now we're in just the 3 states. We're trying to expand. I know we have hopes and goals to go into Missouri soon. And we're kind of testing the waters there. We started hosting some hunts there. Oklahoma is another state we're looking at. We just did a spoonbill fishing trip in Oklahoma last week, and it went amazing. Like 3 boys went down there, and they caught 22 spoonbills.
Wow!
And right around 4 hours, and they were all between 40 to 80 pounds. It looked like they were awesome.
So, in essence, what you're really doing is reintroducing or introducing the outdoors to our young people, which we've really gotten away from. I think there's so much distractions, or I shouldn't say just distractions, but other opportunities that our kids, get into, but we've really gotten away from the outdoors.
Yeah,
and those percentages, man, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's and those aren't exact percentages. Somebody somewhere can tell you the exact percentage, but there's a drastic difference for sure. And like I said, that's the reason I'm here and trying to do these things now. And approaching you guys' program, it was kind of a two-sided deal. And one, there's not a lot of minorities involved in the outdoor. Like most people think hunting and fishing, rich white dudes out doing something.
I thought that about golf too.
Yeah, exactly. And I grew up in Dodge, so I grew up around Hispanic guys. Like there's the large Hispanic population. There's a lot of African Americans, a lot of Asians there.
Yeah.
So I grew up around these guys, and a lot of these guys were some of my real good buddies.
Yeah.
It was I didn't think anything of it. My buddy Adrian would come over, and we go out and run around the fields of the 22, and we'd shoot rabbits all day.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that was a weird thing that in the outdoors. I didn't know that was unusual. For a Hispanic kid to be out running around with a white dude shooting rabbits. I didn't know that because it was just the way I grew up.
That's funny.
And so you see some of this, there's state organizations, other organizations, they're doing this big drive to get minorities involved, but they do it in such an odd way.
Vanilla way.
Not even a vanilla way. They're almost it's almost rude. It comes off as rude. So there's one.
We kind of talked about that a little bit.
There's a one I can't remember who did it, but it was
you don't have to mention names, but tell us a scenario.
They pull into this dilapidated neighborhood, and there's this black guy with hand-me-down hunting clothes, and he gets out and he goes to his crappy car and he opens his trunk and it squeaks. And
this is a true story, right?
Yeah, and he pulls out his guns, and they're hand-me-down guns, and they play on hey, these poor black guys, these poor and they put them in a category, and it's just wrong in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's no
well, I think it's unfortunate, but we look down on people that don't look like us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Basically that's it.
Yeah. And
don't have the means like maybe they do. And
they just made such a huge deal of taking this poor black guy and making him it's I mean, like, it's awesome that like, he's getting outdoors, but like, don't play on those things. Like, don't. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, if we just treat people like they're people,
bring them in
and
say, hey, we love you here, you man.
We open the door, and that's all we had to do with you guys. I came to you guys like, hey, I understand you guys don't come from this background. I'm going to open a door here, and I'm going to invite you in.
And it's been huge.
Yeah, and they've ate up every minute. You know, like that first class, like I said, I think it's 10 kids.
Yeah, that's what Jonas gave. He gave me the numbers.
Yeah, it's just been like, because that first class, you had Santiago in there. You had Andrew and Sebastian.
Yeah, Sebastian.
And those three are the ones I remember the most from there. Yeah. There's Ezekiel was in that also. And he did the one turkey hunt with us. I haven't seen much of him later, but I've seen those three a lot continue on.
They continue. And that's what I mean. It's made an impact on their lives, and hopefully they'll carry it on, and they'll carry it on to their sons or daughters. That's what that's exactly what we want, you know.
It's awesome. Like I said, Santiago, man, like you can't help but love the kid. the first time I met him, like he was just, it seemed like he wasn't real. I don't know if there was a hard time understanding what I was saying. I don't know if there's a bit of a language barrier or something there, but there's definitely something that hard for us to like get through to him. And we actually sat with him during Hunter's Ed, and we read the questions to him because he was having a hard time understanding. He ended up passing that test like with flying colors. And, you know, I'd see him, he'd be like, you know, Bobby, maybe hunting's not for me. Maybe I'm more of a fisher and different things like that. Yeah. And we finally, last year, he went on a duck hunt with us, and he shot his first duck. And he called with the mentors, like, hunting is for me, Bobby. So, because I was always telling him, like, it's just going to take time, man. It's going to take time. Not everyone moves as fast. And so it's awesome seeing him mature.
And that's a wonderful story, because I didn't know about that one. Yeah. You know, you really transform the lives of these young boys and get them thinking and getting them outdoors. And that, to me, that's huge. I mean, that's what it's all about, you know. And you guys have been so good about opening up your arms and bringing us in. And it's made a tremendous change for you, for us. And I think it's going to continue to be that way. I can't thank you enough. And Reyes Reyes and Miguel, they're the ones that I took up to Colby, you know, over a year ago.
They got their lifetime hunt and everything. Those two are hilarious too. I like them because when they come along, they talk crap and then all this stuff. And I know we took them on. I took them both on a dove hunt, and we were showing them how to clean the doves. And Miguel's a little squirmish. He
is.
And it was a brand new mentor. It was his first time mentoring a hunt with us, and he's sitting there showing Miguel how to clean these birds. And Miguel's like, I need you to show me that one more time. And he does that for like 10 birds. And I was like, man, he's punking you out of cleaning those birds. And finally my mentor was like, seriously? so Miguel ended up cleaning the bird. But it was calculated, and it was smart. It was funny to watch happen. But.
Yeah, and he's a great kid. Mm-hmm. You know, his mom manages the, I'm forgetting the name of the hamburger. And she's going to shoot me. Freddy's. Thank you, Edgar. Freddy's, and they've been good to us too. They've supported us. But he helps his mom over there. Mm-hmm. He's a great kid. And when we were up there in Colby and we went on a pheasant hunt, he when we took the pheasants in to get clean, he was doing the same thing. I told him, I said, no, get in there and learn how to clean that bird. Okay. Something you don't know. My father, we owned a motel back when I was growing up. And in the fall, we would get these hunters, come in, and then they'd bring the birds in, because guess who had to clean them? Me. I learned to clean those birds. I did. And so I kind of know a little bit about how to clean those birds. And so that was back when I was a little guy. But yeah, those guys, they're great. They're great boys, you know. And again, I just can't imagine them had they not gotten involved. Yeah. You know, but now they're all over it, you know.
Like I said, I think we had between 70 and 100 kids have gone through Hunter's Ed now.
Yes, they have.
And I think the last time I looked it up in our system, there was around 40 of them actually hunted with us.
That's about right.
And then of those 40, there's, like I said, there's probably 10 of them that are like really into it. So like I said, you got Reyes and Miguel. Well, I think Reyes has been on over 20 hunts with us now. Yeah. Miguel's been on over 15. You got Manny, who's been on 17 or 18 now. Yeah. Santiago's been on all kinds of fishing, and
he's got a great memory, man.
So like they're just these guys, these kids. Like I said, like I told you this last time when we were out doing that shooting range. I'd expect maybe 25% of the kids that came from your program to be lifetime hunters. That's That's a good guess. I think 25-30% probably will be lifetime hunters.
I think you're right.
And that leaves the other, like, people look at that and be like, well, that's a real low number. It's really not. I mean, this is
compared to where you started.
Yeah, it's
going to grow.
Mm-hmm.
We believe it will.
And even if, like I told you this also, even if only those 25% hunt, we have the other 75% who've had a positive experience with an outdoorsman, a hunter and fisher. So when it comes to legislation down the road and somebody trying to ban hunting or ban fishing or ban something like that, this kid's going to be able to be like, no, I'm not voting that way because I had this positive experience with these guys. It may not be for me, but we had this positive experience. We really enjoyed this when we did.
Well, that's why I think it's so important to reintroduce the outdoors to our kids, our children, so they can participate in when things like that come up. Because we got such a wonderful country that we live in and the freedom that it gives us. You threw out a statistic that I didn't know because I went through the course myself. And I didn't realize, was it 95% of the ground here in the U.S. is privately owned?
Is
that right? Or?
It varies by state. Like Kansas, I think Kansas is 98% publicly or privately owned.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so, and then Kansas has they kind of were the forebears of a program that's a walk and hunting program. And so what they do is they lease out private land from private landowners and open it to access to the public. And so that really expands Kansas's abilities. It's not true public lands because it's not publicly owned, but it is public access to those properties. And then the other 2% that's actually like true public lands in Kansas would be like Glen Elder. Horse Thief isn't even true public land because it's owned by the water board or the water district and then it's leased to the state. But like Jetmore City Lake would technically be true public land because it's owned in that thing. And so Kansas they did a horrible job at keeping their public lands whenever they should have been able to keep them.
I guess you realize,
like you go to like places like New Mexico.
It's not like Colorado, New Mexico, or
like in Colorado, New Mexico, 80-90% of the land is publicly owned.
Yeah, flipped.
So it's hard, especially in Kansas, because you have to find the access, you have to find the permissions. Like,
but most people are good about it, aren't they?
Some. You get some people like, well, and the bad thing is like hunters, we're our own worst enemies. So we put a black eye on ourselves sometimes. Like whenever you have a guy that goes out and he gets permission on his piece of private property, he goes in there and he leaves his shells laying around. He leaves his trash laying around. He shoots the house on accident. Like these are just like examples. Somebody shoots somebody's cow or something. And now they have a bad taste in their mouth for hunters, so they won't let people access it again. But like it's hard because of that at some point. But there's also
ruin it.
Yeah, there's also guys that are super nice. They're like, hey, yeah, man, you come out here, you take, especially whenever you bring kids into it. Like you say, hey, I got some kids wanting to hunt. It gets a lot easier, a lot faster. So.
Well, Bob, we sure appreciate you a whole lot and what you've done for us and the program. And I know, to me, it's really just getting started. It's just been a great way to reintroduce the outdoors, and we hope to get the girls involved, and that I think will blow up. There's no doubt in my mind that's going to blow up as well.
Yeah.
And so we're kind of excited about that. And is there any message that you would leave our boys or just people out there in general? Because you are a leader, right? I mean, we all leaders in our families. We're leaders somewhere.
Yeah.
And not all of our stories, we all have a story and we all have challenges. Yeah. And we have bad days and good days.
For sure.
And you had to go through some of that to be where you're at today. What message would you leave for our young people to get them, through maybe it's a tough time at school or a career or even adults? What message would you leave for people?
I think the biggest message for me, like I always had faith that things would continue to go on. But when life gets hard, you just got to hit it back because it's gonna suck.
Smash it in the mouth.
Yeah, it's gonna suck at times. It's gonna be hard at times, and things are gonna be difficult. And if you let life drag you down, it will. And so you got just always got to push forward and keep going. And I also want to say that anyone talk about the outdoors. The outdoors is for everyone.
It is.
I don't care the color of your skin, your ethnicity, your religion, your anything. I don't care your sex or your orientation, whatever. The outdoors is for you, and if it's something you want to get involved in, you need to do it.
Yeah. Again, we appreciate you because that has been big in the Hispanic community here. I don't know why things are like that, but things are, have gotten better and are changing. Our young kids are no different than, the next door white kids. It doesn't matter. Kids ought to be able to have the opportunity, the same opportunities.
100%.
And so we really appreciate you and your organization and Mike, all the people involved, because Mike's a wonderful guy. Had a chance to meet with him. We hope to even work further with you guys and grow this thing, help you grow it is what we'd like to do. So I want to thank you for being on today. Thank you for joining us here at the Real Men, Real Leaders podcast. Say, if you're interested in sponsoring these podcasts, give me a call, and we'd love to promote your product or your service, and we could use those sponsorships to help pay, because it does cost to produce this podcast. But we really appreciate you joining us. We hope that you will continue to join us, and we'll see you next time around.